Hey, open the door. I want a new life.
What's up, people? So over the last few weeks I was reconnected with the New Yorker magazine. When I was an undergrad, I bought the New Yorker faithfully when I was a broke undergrad student, and that magazine was expensive. I used to buy that one in the Wall Street Journal because I was a dork, but I would buy the New Yorker once a week and just fall into the stories. That's where I read or met Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie and some other writers, but I would carry it and just read it from cover to cover, and I loved it. Since then, I have not read, I have not purchased the actual magazine because I just don't purchase magazines anymore because digital age. I read 3 short stories and I wanted to share those with you because I love short stories. I think that they are just packed with goodness. A really good one kind of leaves you satisfied at the end but doesn't leave you with an answer. I love it when a short story opens with a powerful first line and just grabs you, and then you just fall into the story. So that's what I have with me today. I have 3 stories that just really grabbed my attention, and it just brought back memories of when I would sit on the MARC train going to Bowie State University and just ignoring all that was around me and just falling into the story. So the first one is The Cheetah's Guide to Love. This is not a new publication. This is a part of Junot Díaz's collection, This Is How You Lose Her. This short story was incredible, and I've never read Junot Díaz before. But I read it, I was like, why am I not reading him? I just loved the realness, the language that he used. This one, like I said, I just fell into it, and I really was taken away by the storyline. So the story starts off, it opens with your girl catches you cheating, and if that is not a attention grabber, I don't know what is, because you want to know what happens after that. So we follow our main character over a 5-year span as he kind of deteriorates from there after breaking up with his girlfriend. He goes through all of these different extremes, from drunkenness to obesity to sex addiction, and then to the other extreme, he becomes extremely obsessively healthy, and all the while trying to reconcile his relationships with women and not being able to, and trying to gain his footing as a down and out writer. He moves from New York, where he lived with his girlfriend, to Boston, and there he encounters a whole other set of issues. He is an English teacher. That's what he is, an English teacher. So a little bit about our character. He's from the Dominican Republic, and he looks like a black man. So on this campus he encounters a whole other set of issues. Of course, you know, social issues, racism, and his credentials being questioned as a Harvard professor. On top of that, reconciling his relationship with women, getting his life back together after he cheated, and he just can't seem to do it. So Díaz creates these characters, and I love the circle that our main character has, his circle of friends. I think they're funny. It's great insight to how men communicate with each other, and I think that's why I really enjoyed Díaz's writing, because it's from the male perspective, and I read a lot from the female perspective, but I just love the camaraderie that the men had. Now, they aren't perfect characters, and no, I didn't like this main character, but I loved the progression throughout the story. Though it's a very short story, but I just really enjoy the progression. Yeah, and it's just a real story. It felt good reading it. So the next two, you can go on the New York, and I'm going to leave the links for all of them below. You can actually listen to them, and they are actually both read by the authors. So the next one is called Ladies' Lunch by Laura Siegel. A group of elderly women who meet for lunches and their gatherings, and one of the women in the group is getting older, and she is facing death. She's also facing losing her independence, losing her apartment. Her son moves her out of her fabulous New York apartment and puts her into a assisted living facility, and her friends plot to rescue her. And though it is a bit of a sad story, and you get insight into how elderly people feel when they're transitioning in their lives, her friends are still very Spitfire, very energetic, and just ready to rescue her when she calls, when she needs it. I just love how the author talks about like some of the fancies of New York leisurely living. Like these ladies have rooftop lunches, and their husbands are doctors, and they lived a life of luxury. And so when she's coming to the end of that, she doesn't know how to reconcile. She doesn't know how to deal with those changes. The last one is Crazy They Call Me by Zadie Smith, and she is embodying Billie Holiday. I read this one last night. I read it and then I listened to it again. Zadie Smith reads this one, and she speaks in her natural accent. She has a British accent, but in this short story she speaks in this New York Southern style accent, and I really can't place it, but I like it. And I wanted this opening line just had me for it. Like I was all together for this story, not just because Zadie Smith wrote it, but this opening line. It says, "Well, you certainly don't go out any place less than dress, not these days." And that just kind of embodies the lifestyle and the life and times of Billie Holiday. And then she goes on to talk about her having her mink, and she loves that mink. And there's a line in here about her boiling eggs and twin sets and pearls, and I was like, oh, I love it. This is the jazz age. This is the epitome of elegance, glam, and style, and I absolutely love it. So this story is written in, I think it's first person singular. Come on, English majors, help me out with this one. She's talking to Billie as Billie. It's weird. It's really weird, and I think it is first person singular, and I also think that the Junot Diaz's story is also first person singular, but she's talking to Billie as Billie, and it's almost like a pep talk story because it reveals some of the struggles that Billie Holiday went through with, you know, her relationships with women and their distrust of her around their men. Her as a Black performer and people questioning her ability to be great, and she's like reminding herself how great she is while dealing with all of those social issues, personal issues, and stuff like that. It is a beautiful story to read. Like, read it and then listen to it. It has energy. It has a lot of elegance to it. And I really just enjoyed it. It's actually worth the read a third time. So I hope you get into these stories. Like I said, I'll leave the link to each one below. Let me know your thoughts. How do you feel about short stories? I love them. I love collections, short story collections. I love reading them, you know, on my cell phone while I'm out and about. Just need something, just need to have my eyes on words. I'll pick up a short story and do that. Share your thoughts, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye.
It's more. I want a new life, a new life.